Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mo, and today I want to talk about Ivara and probably one of the most unique builds I have ever seen on a Warframe. This is a combination of a lot of different factors working precisely together. I don't know how long this is going to last. Not to say that it is necessarily broken and will get fixed, but rather I feel like one of these mechanics could get changed in the future and some random line of spaghetti code will fuck everything up. I don't know. But without further ado, let us look at this right here. So, this has to do with Navigator. Navigator is the ability where if you launch a projectile, you are allowed to control it directly. And this is an interesting interaction, but we will go over that later. Let's look at the build first. So, we are primarily building for duration and efficiency to get Navigator and Prowl as low as they possibly can on energy cost. Because believe me when I say the energy cost on this will ramp up dramatically. And then range is entirely a dump stat. You don't need it. You don't want it. It does absolutely nothing for this build since you're probably not even using Artemis Bow. This also has room for a subsume if you so desire. That is absolutely a thing that you can do. I don't know what you would really realistically put here. You could maybe put dispensary, some, energy regen, that sort of thing. There's a whole bunch of different stuff that you could throw on this and have it be effective. Nourish, again, obvious, easy answer, but again, we don't really need survival in this build since you are primarily just going to be invisible most of the time. So I've kind of foregone most of the traditional survivability tools. The Aura could probably be whatever. This build outputs so much damage that, having corrosive projection here doesn't really make much of a difference, if I'm being entirely honest. But yeah, that is the build here. So the interaction is on the Grimoire. Now, the Grimoire has the Alt-Fire projectile that shoots, a big electric ball that coincidentally does not disappear when it hits a wall. Rather, it bounces off. And also happens to have infinite punch through. What this ends up meaning is that Ivara can endlessly control the projectile. I've added secondary fortifier. That helps with survivability a lot because while you can stay stationary for some time, you do need to occasionally get up to collect, life support or energy or what have you. So this is to help with that if you need to get up for that. This helps with the ability strength and absolutely gives you more crit damage. This is essentially a crit damage mod. Since we're already at 5x crit damage, 90% crit chance. Ivara also has crit damage shards on her as well to further help boost this. Since crits are one of the major ways that she's dealing damage with this. Since she's getting roughly a... How much is it? I had to calculate with Empowered Quiver. You are sitting on the dash wire. You're getting about 200 some odd crit damage off of this. So you will absolutely be wanting to hit your crits as much as you can. Magnetic Mind here, again, more crit damage. We have Viral Electricity. Nothing too out of the ordinary. Lethal Momentum, I think, helps. I'm not exactly sure how this interacts with the projectile, but it does just keep you moving a lot more. Since you are not really playing as Ivara, you are playing as the evil orb that kills people. So I will demonstrate that promptly. So I will switch to Dashwire. One of these up. And then Navigator comes out, and away we go. I am now controlling this orb freely. As you can see, even if I run into, the ground. And also, stuff is dying very quickly here. especially as damage ramps up here. It's going to get even stronger as it goes. Since you, with Dash Wire, you do have to... Each Dash Wire is a snapshot of your current power strength. So that is another option that you could have, is you could have in power, you know, get that 50% strength up, then, you know, cast Dash Wire, sit on the Dash Wire, so on and so forth. And like I said, you can just infinitely control this. And like I said, you can see my energy really going down there in the corner. Even though I have max efficiency, max duration, it is plummeting quickly. You get to be in this for like about like maybe 2 or 3 minutes, you know, uninterrupted. Energize also helps with this. If you happen to, you know, vacuum up a straight energy orb, that will, you know, extend your timer, so on and so forth. And to cancel it, you just press Navigator again. You can get out of there, and you can get up, you know, go grab your energy, do what you need to do, get filled back up. But that is the lab test. I will see you all in the field test. Alright, so here we are at the field test. We will go and find our camping spot. In this room in particular, I will go and sit up over there, unless there's something better in this room. No, there is not. I will set up a dash wire right here. I'll first, you know, get a little bit of energy, just so I can have that get up real quickly here. Make sure I'm topped off properly. And I will go sit up on my lofty spot. And away we go. You will hear lots of that weird noise. I don't know exactly what noise that is, but... Like I said, you start killing very, very quickly after a certain time. And like I said, you are naturally just getting Overguard out of this as well. So you're pretty safe up there, you know, watching yourself. Like, the only thing that is really going to come and interrupt you directly is going to be something like an Acolyte. And even then, those aren't really necessarily that much of a threat. Again, like I said, that Energize is keeping me going for quite a while here, even though I didn't necessarily start with a full bar. Also, be careful going through doors, because while you are in this mode, you cannot enter doors. Like, doors will not open for you, so you can kind of get trapped in a room, so to speak, with your projectile. I said, once you have all this, you can run around, go get all the energy you need. And be good to go, you know, do some of this, get some energy refill, whatever you need to do. Then hop back on and get back to it. Since you will more than likely have plenty of juice to fire another one of these off right away. And like I said, results may vary again depending on the tile set, you know, where you are. Since this is quite a finicky build, but again, it does have a fantastic kill rate. Just having that meaty crit chance from Empowered Quiver really, really does help you. You just hover around these groups and just sit in them until they explode. Like I said, if you need to step off, you know, go get energy. You absolutely have all the stuff that you need to go do that. Get all of this life support. And hop back up on your little perch, and you are good to go again. Oh, here comes an Acolyte. Hopefully it's anything but Violence, because Violence can mess you up real good. Oh, it's just Malice. Malice is actually not that bad. If you just hover around him, he'll die pretty quickly. Because even Acolytes can't really handle this for very long. Especially if you hit him on crits consistently. They'll just go right away. Just pop them all out of here. Easy, easy money. I said, it is a very silly way to play the game, I will say, and it is shockingly effective, no pun intended. I was not expecting this to have the, abilities that it does, but I am surprised that Ivara is capable of something like this. And like I said, I really hope that this is something that stays in the game, because this is such a unique and interesting build, and, different way to play Warframe. That, I want this to stay. I said sometimes you need to just step off, go grab your energy, go grab your life support, because there is so much life support out here. Just dropping like candy for you. They may be briefly alerted to your presence if you fire this off, but again, the Overguard combined with just being able to instantly kill them, they will not know where you are for very long. Since enemies that have freshly spawned do not have the persistent enemy of previous ones. Persistent memory of previous enemies. That's a bit of a tongue twister. And again, like I said, be careful going through doors. Because your ball can get trapped on the other side, and you won't be able to get it out until an enemy goes through. And if you're guarding that door, there's a very little likelihood that an enemy will make it to the door. So just be mindful of things like that. And this is viral as well. If you have the Panzervault, you can maybe rearrange this for, I don't know, again, corrosive maybe, corrosive heat. It is all up to preference, depending on, how you have it set up, what you want to do. Again, like I said, you have all this Overguard that you just have, a very quick get-out-of-jail-free card if you need to get up or you run out of energy entirely. Really, really handy to have. And very, very free. Yeah, like I said, this is the Navigator build. I hope y'all find interesting things that you can do with this. As far as I know, this is the only projectile that is capable of this, but I am not entirely certain on that. I would need to be fact-checked on that specifically. I feel like maybe the Tenet Archiplasmor can do this, since it does bounce off walls as well, but I am not 100% sure on that. It is also noted that this is a very slow projectile, so it's very easy to control. Which is what makes the, again, another thing that makes this build possible. Because even if there was another projectile that behaved similarly, high likelihood is that it is very fast, or at least much faster than this. Which is, again, making it very, very difficult to move around properly. Nullifiers, if you just hover, to kill Nullifiers, just hover around the top of them, and that should get rid of them very quickly. The magnetic damage on here also is for them as well, since it will clear them out very, very quickly and make sure that they don't come anywhere near you. Because a Nullifier coming up to your, your little tightrope area will ruin your day pretty quickly. So this is insurance for that. Yeah, that is the Ivara Navigator build. I will see you all next time.